Let me tell you something that no one else dares to say out loud. The world doesn't give you confidence. It doesn't hand it to you in a pretty box. It doesn't whisper in your ear and say, "You're enough." No. Confidence is not given. It's built, it's earned, it's fought for. And the moment you stop waiting for permission to feel worthy is the moment you step into your power. Confidence is the key, but only if you're bold enough to use it. 1. Confidence is born when you stop shrinking to fit rooms you've outgrown. Most people play small because they're terrified of being too much, too loud, too bold, too ambitious. But let me ask you this. When did dimming your light ever make you happy? Confidence doesn't bloom in silence. It grows when you decide to show up fully, unapologetically. When you stop diluting your power to make other people comfortable. If your presence threatens their insecurity, let it. That's not your problem. Confidence means choosing expansion over approval. You weren't made to blend in. You were born to stand out. Most people walk through life trying to take up less space physically, emotionally, mentally. They speak softer. They apologize for things that aren't their fault. They cross their legs and their arms and their dreams just to make themselves smaller. Why? Because somewhere along the way, the world taught them that being too loud, too bold, too visible was dangerous. That power and presence should only belong to a chosen few, so they shrink, they settle. They stay in rooms, relationships, jobs, and identities that no longer fit them, all because standing tall might make someone uncomfortable. But here's the truth. Shrinking doesn't serve anyone. Not you, not the world. When you start shrinking yourself to fit a space you've outgrown, you're not protecting anyone's peace, you're betraying your own potential. You weren't meant to live a muted life. You weren't born to just exist quietly in the background. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, every time you hold your tongue when you know you should speak, every time you silence your ambition because you don't want to come off as too much, you disconnect from your power. And the longer you stay disconnected, the easier it becomes to forget who you are. Confidence begins the moment you stop apologizing for your presence. Think about it. When was the last time you were in a space and felt like you had to play a role just to be accepted? Maybe you laughed at something that didn't feel right. Maybe you dressed down to not seem intimidating. Maybe you held back your ideas because you were afraid of being shut down. That's not confidence. That's survival, and while survival might get you through the day, it will never give you a life that sets your soul on fire. Confidence is not about fitting in. It's about knowing you were never meant to. You weren't born to be palatable. You were born to be powerful. And yes, choosing to stop shrinking will make people uncomfortable. You will be called names. Too loud, too confident, too assertive. You will be misunderstood. You will trigger people who haven't yet claimed their own power, but do not let their fear become your limitation. The truth is, you don't owe anyone a watered-down version of yourself. You don't need to make yourself smaller so someone else can feel big. Their comfort is not your responsibility. Your growth is. And growth requires you to stretch, to rise, to expand beyond what others expected of you. When you stop shrinking, you start attracting. You attract respect. You attract aligned opportunities. You attract people who see you, not for who you pretend to be, but for who you truly are. Your energy shifts. Your presence becomes undeniable. You begin to take up space without even trying. And that kind of confidence, that kind of power, it's not loud or flashy, it's rooted. It's the kind of presence that doesn't ask for permission because it knows it belongs. You no longer walk into rooms wondering if you're good enough. You walk in knowing that the room is lucky you showed up. This kind of confidence is radical because it challenges everything we were taught to believe about ourselves. It challenges every moment someone told us to sit down, be quiet, stay small. And when you finally rise, when you finally step into the full expression of who you are, you're not just doing it for yourself. You're doing it for every woman who was told she was too much, for every girl who was taught to dim her light. Confidence is born the moment you stop shrinking to fit the room. and start realizing you were meant to own the entire building. We've been conditioned to believe that confidence is something you either have or you don't, like a magical trait some people are just born with. But that's a lie. Confidence isn't a gift. It's a *** choice ***, a decision you make every single day. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment to feel brave or beautiful or worthy. It's about claiming your worth right now, even when your hands are shaking, even when the doubt is loud. The truth is, confidence doesn't show up before you take action. It shows up because you do. You don't wait for confidence to knock. You open the door and say, let's go. Waiting to feel ready is one of the biggest traps. How many dreams have died because someone was waiting for the stars to align, for the fear to disappear, for someone else to validate them first? Confidence is not about eliminating fear, it's about deciding that your purpose is bigger than your fear. It's about stepping out with shaky knees and an unsteady voice and doing it anyway, because deep down you know what's scarier than failing, *** regret. *** knowing you never even tried. Confidence means betting on yourself even when the odds feel impossible. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is realizing that confidence isn't tied to external success. It's not about how many degrees you have, how many followers you've collected, or how polished your life looks on the outside. Confidence is built from within. It's built in private moments, when you keep going even when no one is clapping, when you show up even when no one is watching. It's in the small decisions you make to keep moving forward, despite the fear, despite the doubt, despite the silence. And that internal strength, it's unshakable because it's not dependent on anyone else's approval. You have to stop looking for someone to choose you. Choose yourself. That's what confidence looks like. It's walking into a room and not scanning it for who likes you, but deciding you already belong. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to explain or perform or shrink. You just have to own your space. When you stop chasing validation and start standing in your truth, your whole world shifts. Confidence isn't arrogance, it's alignment. It's knowing who you are, what you bring, and not needing anyone to confirm it for you. Confidence is a decision to trust yourself, to trust your voice, to trust your instincts, to trust that even if you mess up, you'll learn. Even if you fall, you'll rise. It's not about being fearless. It's about being resilient. Life will test you, people will doubt you, you will doubt yourself. But if you can stand in that fire and say, I'm still going, then you're already more powerful than most. Confidence means choosing yourself again and again, even on the days you feel unworthy. Especially on those days, the most beautiful part, the more you choose confidence, the stronger it becomes. Every time you speak up, you build it. Every time you show up, you reinforce it. It's like a muscle, ***. The more you use it, the more powerful it gets. ***, and one day you'll look back and realize you're no longer waiting for permission. You've stopped second guessing. You've stopped apologizing for taking up space. Because confidence, once chosen, becomes your armor. Not to protect you from the world, but to remind you that you can face anything it throws your way. We often imagine confident people as those who are never afraid, those who walk into any room with unwavering certainty and speak without a tremble in their voice. But that image is not only false, it's dangerous, because it convinces you that fear and confidence can't coexist. The truth is, ***, confidence is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward despite it. ***, it's not about never feeling doubt or never second guessing yourself. It's about choosing courage in the middle of uncertainty. Fear might show up, but it doesn't get to drive. You do. Fear is sneaky. It doesn't always scream at whispers. It tells you you're not ready, that you're not smart enough, talented enough, pretty enough, experienced enough. It convinces you that taking risks is dangerous, that standing out is risky, and that rejection is unbearable, and so you freeze, you procrastinate. You stay in your comfort zone, calling it playing it safe, when really it's fear wearing a mask. But confidence breaks that cycle. Asterisk asterisk it says, I hear the fear and I'm still choosing to act. Asterisk asterisk, it's the brave choice to walk into the unknown, trusting that you'll figure it out as you go. Every bold move begins with that terrifying moment. Your heart racing, your stomach turning, your thoughts screaming, what if I fail? But here's the secret. Asterisk asterisk, no one ever became great by playing it safe. Asterisk asterisk, no one ever changed their life by sitting quietly, waiting to feel perfectly ready. Confidence grows in discomfort. It expands every time you push past the urge to run and choose to rise instead. Even when you stumble, even when your voice shakes, even when you don't have all the answers. Confidence is built in motion, not in perfection. Look back at the moments that made you stronger. I guarantee they weren't easy. Maybe it was speaking your truth, walking away from something toxic, standing up for yourself when your knees were shaking. Those moments shaped you, and what made them powerful wasn't the absence of fear. It was your decision to act anyway. Confidence isn't loud. It's not always glamorous. Sometimes it's messy, raw, and quiet. But it's always present in the women who dare to choose themselves even when it terrifies them. Especially then, you want to build real confidence, then stop waiting for the fear to go away, start moving through it. Do the things scared, speak up even if your voice trembles, apply for the opportunity even if you feel underqualified, show up even if you feel like an imposter. That's how you build strength. Not by eliminating fear, but by showing yourself that asterisk asterisk you can survive it. Asterisk asterisk that it doesn't have the final say. Because the truth is, every time you take action in the presence of fear, you reclaim power. You prove to yourself that you are more than your doubt. Fear will always have a voice, but it doesn't have to be the loudest one. Confidence is the voice that says, this is scary, and I'm doing it anyway. It's the quiet fire that burns inside you, pushing you forward when everything in you wants to retreat. The more you walk through fear, the less power it has. And that's where your transformation begins. Not when you finally feel fearless, but when you decide to rise in spite of the fear. That's the kind of confidence that changes everything. Confidence isn't something that magically appears one day. It's not a feeling that floats down from the sky and suddenly makes everything easier. Asterisk asterisk confidence is built, day by day, decision by decision, by keeping the promises you make to yourself. Asterisk asterisk, it starts in the small, quiet moments when no one's watching. When you tell yourself, I'm going to wake up early tomorrow, and you do, when you say, I'll take that first step, and you follow through, it's in the consistency, the discipline, the integrity you hold with your own words. That's where true confidence is born. So many people talk about confidence like it's an external trait, like it's in how you dress, how you speak, how you carry yourself. But the real foundation of confidence is trust. Asterisk asterisk, and trust is only built when you keep showing up for yourself. Asterisk asterisk, if you constantly break the promises you make to yourself, how can you expect to feel strong? If you say you'll take action but keep delaying, if you say you'll prioritize your growth but keep putting it off, what you're really doing is eroding your self-trust. And without self-trust, confidence cannot exist. You see, it's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. Every time you follow through, even in the smallest ways, you reinforce the belief that asterisk asterisk you can count on you. Asterisk asterisk, that's powerful, that creates an unshakable foundation that doesn't rely on applause or approval. Because even when the world is silent, you know your own voice speaks truth. Even when the world doubts you, you have proof, real, lived proof, that you are capable of following through. That's how confidence becomes a part of who you are, not just something you try to project, but something you embody. Think about how you feel when someone breaks their word to you, the disappointment, the doubt, the shift in energy when promises aren't kept. Now flip that inward. How often have you let yourself down? How often have you pushed your own needs and goals to the side, telling yourself you'll get to it later? Confidence doesn't grow in later. Asterisk asterisk, it grows in now. Asterisk asterisk, in the moment you decide that your goals are worth showing up for today. When your actions start aligning with your intentions, confidence becomes a natural byproduct. The problem is, most people think motivation builds confidence, but motivation fades. Some days you'll be tired. Some days you'll want to quit. That's where commitment kicks in, when you keep your promises, not because it's convenient, but because it's who you are. That builds integrity, and confidence thrives in integrity. You become someone who doesn't just talk the talk, you walk it. You become someone who backs their vision with action, and over time, yourself, Rust becomes unbreakable. Because you're no longer waiting to be saved, fixed, or motivated. Asterisk asterisk, you've become the one who shows up for you. Asterisk asterisk, and the beautiful thing is, once you build that kind of inner strength, it radiates outward. People feel it when you speak, they see it in how you carry yourself, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you've done the inner work. You've built a relationship with yourself that's rooted in respect and reliability. That's the real flex, not pretending to be confident, but actually being it, because you know who you are and you've got the receipts to prove it. Confidence isn't just a feeling, it's a reflection of how consistently you show up for your own life. Confidence doesn't scream, it doesn't beg for attention, it doesn't demand validation. Asterisk asterisk, confidence is energy, pure, undeniable, magnetic energy. Asterisk asterisk, when someone walks into a room radiating real confidence, they don't have to say a word. People feel it, they sit up straighter, they pay attention. That kind of presence doesn't come from arrogance or noise. It comes from alignment. When your inner world is rooted in self-belief, your outer world reflects that power. You become a force, not because you shout, but because you asterisk know. Asterisk, you carry a frequency that cannot be faked. Too many people think confidence is about being the loudest voice in the room, but true confidence isn't performative. It's not trying to impress, it's not desperate to be liked. Asterisk asterisk, it's grounded, it's intentional, it's calm, even when chaos surrounds it. Asterisk asterisk, the most powerful woman in the room doesn't need to prove herself. She doesn't need to dominate conversations or posture her way through life. She just is. Her silence speaks volumes. Her choices echo confidence. She doesn't chase energy. She asterisk commands asterisk it, not with ego, but with certainty. Commanding energy begins with knowing who you are and refusing to shrink for anyone. It's about walking into every space as if you belong, not in a boastful way, but in a deeply rooted way. You don't need to announce yourself. You don't need a spotlight. Your presence alone creates impact. Asterisk asterisk, because confidence isn't about showing off, it's about showing up. Asterisk asterisk, fully, authentically, boldly, you stop waiting for others to acknowledge your power. You start owning it from the inside out. That's when your energy becomes unshakable. Confidence also comes from how you carry yourself, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. How you handle pressure, how you respond to rejection, how you recover from failure. When you're confident, your energy doesn't collapse when things go wrong. It expands. You don't internalize every obstacle as a reflection of your worth. You learn, you adapt, you evolve. That resilience is felt. People notice how you move. They notice that you don't crumble under criticism, that you don't let fear dictate your decisions, that energy commands respect, whether they say it out loud or not. And let's be clear, this kind of energy doesn't mean you're always in control, always perfect, always composed. Asterisk asterisk, it means you trust yourself enough to navigate the highs and the lows. Asterisk asterisk, it means you've done the work to know that no situation, no opinion, no room can shake who you are. That level of self-possession, that's what makes people stop and watch. That's what makes your presence linger long after you've left. You're not just taking up space, you're asterisk owning asterisk it, unapologetically. When you embody confidence, you naturally shift the dynamic around you. People feel safer, inspired, challenged. You give others permission to rise, not by saying a word, but by being a living example of what it means to be rooted in your worth. You don't chase the room rises to meet you, because confidence commands energy, not through force, but through frequency. It's a quiet power, a steady fire, and once you tap into that, you never have to fight to be seen again. You already are. Confidence is your superpower, but only if you're bold enough to claim it. Too many women wait for someone else to hand them permission to speak, to lead, to rise. But the truth is, no one is coming to crown you. No one is going to wake up one day and decide to give you the green light to finally believe in yourself. That moment you're waiting for, it's already here. The power you're looking for, it's already inside you, but you have to choose it. You have to stop waiting and start owning the fact that you were never meant to play small. We live in a world that profits off your doubt. A world that constantly tells women they need to be prettier, quieter, smaller, more agreeable to be worthy. From the time we're young, we're taught to second, guess ourselves, to be careful not to be too much. But confidence is rebellion. It's the radical act of choosing yourself in a world that's constantly trying to sell you the idea that you're not enough. And when you finally stop buying into that narrative, when you stop editing yourself for the comfort of others, you unlock a power no one can take from you. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You don't need to have it all figured out. Confidence isn't about never failing. It's about rising every single time you do. It's about knowing that your value isn't tied to your performance, your past, or anyone's opinion. It's in your presence, your voice, your essence. You're not defined by your mistakes. You're defined by your ability to grow from them. Confidence means showing up fully, even when you're imperfect, because you understand that your worth isn't up for debate. So many people spend their lives shrinking, apologizing, waiting for approval. But what if you decided that today is the day you stop hiding? What if you chose to live like you are already enough? Because the truth is, confidence doesn't wait for the world to say yes. It starts the moment you say yes to yourself. It's a commitment to stop abandoning yourself, to stop betraying your own brilliance just to make others feel more comfortable. You weren't born to be digestible. You were born to be undeniable. There is a version of you that exists on the other side of fear. She's bold, she's clear. She walks into every room with her head held high because she knows who she is. She doesn't chase attention. She commands presence. She doesn't beg for love. She becomes love, and the only thing standing between you and her is the decision to stop doubting your own magic. Confidence is the bridge. And you already have the tools to cross it. But you have to be willing to let go of who you think you're supposed to be and embrace who you truly are. Because once you claim your confidence, fully, fearlessly, unapologetically, everything changes. You stop settling, you stop people pleasing, you stop asking, am I enough? And start declaring, I am more than enough. That shift, it's everything. Confidence becomes the lens through which you see the world, and more importantly, how the world sees you. When you believe in yourself, others have no choice but to take notice. Because confidence isn't something you fake, it's something you become. And once you step into it, nothing and no one can take it away from you.